Greetings, PlayStation adepts. In this video, I'll talk about the new potentially best games coming out in October 2025. We can look forward to a PlayStation exclusive, the revival of a legendary shooter in a new subgenre, a powerful competitor to Call of Duty, and even a new game set in the Terminator universe. In general, October will be scorching hot with new releases. Ghost of Yotei. The action takes place 300 years after the finale of Tsushima, in the region around the volcanic mountain Yotei on the island of Hokkaido. Instead of Mongols, you will have to kill bandits, pirates, and members of small samurai clans. The main goal of the lone mercenary Atsu, whom you will play as, is to find the 6 bandits who killed her family many years ago. The combat stance system has been replaced with 5 types of weapons, and the ability to throw them at enemies, pick up enemy weapons, and disarm opponents has been added, which should make combat more dynamic. Wolf will help you deal with enemies, but he is not a typical companion who always follows the main character. His intervention will be random and quite rare, but as Atsu develops her relationship with him, he will come to her aid more often and use more diverse abilities. Another new feature is the camp, which you can set up to rest, cook food, and even trade with a merchant or take on a quest. The goal is to make the player use fast travel less often and stay immersed in the game world. Neon Inferno. The game is a dynamic hybrid of a side-scroller and a gallery shooter, where the action takes place both in the foreground and in the background. The events unfold in a huge sci-fi metropolis, and you play as 2 mercenaries in the service of the criminal syndicate, The Family, who will go through all the seedy areas of the city and leave none of the villains alive. Due to the mix of several genres, Neon Inferno's gameplay promises to be quite diverse, and the heroes can slow down time to aim more accurately or even repel enemy attacks. Little Nightmares 3. 2 children nicknamed Low and Alone will explore the mysterious place called Nowhere, where each location has a different atmosphere, history, and enemies. Low wields a bow and arrows, while Alone uses a wrench, which will need to be used for defense and solving puzzles. The main innovation of the trilogy is online co-op, and you can play together even if the second player does not have their own copy of the game. To do this, you will need to download the Friends Pass. A bonus free treat for pre-ordering is the graphically enhanced first part of the series. Battlefield 6. The return of the Battlefield series is being met with loud cheers from players after a closed beta test. The new building destruction system, as well as intense battles on small maps, have sent gamers into a wild frenzy, with over 500,000 players pre-ordering on PC alone, and nearly 3 million adding it to their wish lists. And yet, almost nothing is known about the single-player campaign, where you can also immerse yourself in a large-scale war and see destroyed cities and falling skyscrapers. If it's on par with Battlefield 3, or at least Battlefield 4, I'm sure that Battlefield 6 will be the top military shooter of the year or even several years, both for multiplayer lovers and single-player fans. Vampire, The Masquerade, Bloodlines 2. The main action RPG of the year about vampires invites you to become a member of one of 6 clans, whose followers possess unique physical or mental abilities that allow them to fight, avoid combat, and of course feed on human blood. The main thing is to be careful and not break the masquerade so as not to attract people's attention. According to the developer's idea, the gameplay for each clan will be unique, and replaying the game for any of them can give you a new, unique experience and perspective on the events taking place. Ninja Gaiden 4. The events of the new installment of the bloody slasher take place in a futuristic cyberpunk Tokyo, engulfed in chaos due to endless cursed rain caused by the remains of the Dark Dragon. The main character of the 4th installment is a young ninja master from the Crow clan named Yakumo, but you can also play as the legendary Ryu Hayabusa in certain missions. The Blood Raven combat system used by Yakumo allows him to manipulate the blood of his enemies to perform various powerful attacks and counterattacks, and after filling the blood gauge, his weapon transforms into a bloody blade that has a much greater range and can strike several enemies at once with beautiful special effects. The game for Ryu, on the other hand, will focus on speed and accuracy of strikes. Ninja Gaiden 4 will retain its former hardcore nature, but will still have several difficulty levels, and on the easiest one, the hero will even automatically reflect enemy attacks, allowing absolutely everyone to enjoy the action, not just the most skilled players. In addition to battles, the game will allow you to explore locations, find hidden items, trials, and collectible godlike creatures. Painkiller. Once a very popular and impressive single-player first-person shooter, this year it will be reincarnated as a cooperative session-based PvE shooter, similar to Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood. A team of 3 players must fight their way through the gothic locations of Purgatory, battling demonic hordes and giant monsters to earn the creator's forgiveness. There aren't many weapons in Painkiller, but they are quite unique and can be slightly improved improve by leveling up and adding new features. There are both classic weapons such as the Column-It and new ones. Jurassic World Evolution 3, the third part of the Jurassic Park simulator, offers a complex system of natural dinosaur reproduction with egg laying, as well as a detailed simulation of the growth and behavior of the young that need to be cared for. The modular construction system for creating parks has also been updated, and along with it, parks for children have appeared, as well as the ability to change and customize the terrain and fly in a hot air balloon over the enclosures. Tormented Souls 2. In the sequel to survival horror, the sister of the main character, Carolina Walker, begins to be haunted by visions full of violence and death. Under their influence, she creates sinister drawings that come to life in a terrifying reality. She loses consciousness, coughs up blood, and her eyes turn black. So Carolina travels to a remote South American town with a frightening past to find a cure for her sister. As in the first part, expect a dark plot, monstrous creatures, and interesting puzzles. Double Dragon Revive. This reimagining of the classic beat-em-up features a completely revamped visual style and 3D graphics. In terms of gameplay, the game stays true to the traditions of the series, offering gamers several characters with a rich set of combo attacks who will go through location after location, beating up crowds of ordinary enemies and powerful bosses with their fists and cold weapons. Plants vs. Zombies Replanted. This month was not without remasters. This time, the first part of Plants vs. Zombies got a graphical upgrade. The game's resolution was improved, the quality of textures and effects was enhanced, cooperative and PvP modes were added, new levels were released, and it was released on all current platforms. The Outer Worlds 2. At the center of the fantastic plot is an agent of the Earth Council who investigates the causes of devastating rifts that threaten the complete destruction of humanity. Players will be able to complete quests in a variety of ways, acting as either a ruthless villain or a noble savior, with the population of cities and settlements reacting to their actions and choices. This will also affect relationships with companions you meet while traveling through Arcadia. Players will be able to help them achieve their goals or lead them to their own demise. Ark Raiders. This extraction shooter invites you to become a raider on a devastated Earth and extract resources while fighting other players and hostile ARC robots. These are not just small machines and drones, but also heavy, unwieldy tanks. As a reward for successful raids and completed quests, players will gain experience to level up their hero, increasing their mobility and survivability or expanding their inventory so that the next raid is a little easier and the amount of loot brought back is greater. Terminator 2D No Fate. This new 2D shooter will let you dive into the events of the second movie about the killer cyborg and controlling Sarah and John Connor, as well as the T-800, relive all the iconic scenes and put an end to Skynet's sinister plans before the human race is destroyed. And this is the game I'm most looking forward to in October. Ever since the first trailer, I've been eagerly awaiting it, as I've loved the Terminator franchise since childhood and still play games based on it. Recently, by the way, I played the old Terminator Dawn of Fate for the first time. Of course, I'm really looking forward to Ghost of Yotei, as I thoroughly enjoyed playing Ghost of Tsushima. I especially enjoyed the combat and the impact it had. I immersed myself in battle and felt like an invincible samurai. The need to switch stances to defeat different types of enemies only spurred my interest and added variety. I really hope that in Yotei, the developers will be able to build on the combat foundations laid down in Tsushima without losing the atmosphere of the fights. Bloodlines 2 also attracts my attention with its vampire setting. I can't wait to dive into the dark world of the Masquerade and hunt down my victims to drink their blood. Despite the outdated controls and primitive action, I enjoyed the first part of Tormented Souls. Its dark storyline and very interesting complex puzzles captured my attention and held it until the final credits. I hope that in the second part, the developers have worked on the flaws and made what was good even better. As for Ninja Gaiden 4, I see it as the fast-paced slasher game that I've been missing in recent years. Not an open-world adventure action game, but a corridor-style game packed with story events and battles. I hope I'm right and the game will live up to my expectations. And of course, I can't ignore Little Nightmares 3. The continuation of atmospheric horror games and in co-op mode is exactly what you need after big games. The only thing that bothers me is the lack of co-op on one console and the change of developers. After all, the third part is being made by Supermassive Games, known for the Dark Pictures anthology series. It remains to be seen whether they have managed to preserve the spirit of Little Nightmares or whether they have simply created a poor parody. Write in the comments which October releases you liked, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so you don't miss my new videos and learn more about PlayStation. Play and win. See ya!